Will?
Yes, ma'am. It is.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Good afternoon, teachers. Good afternoon. Um, Today we are going to talk about this particular a very, very, it's always been there, a generalized topic, but it's been taken for granted as well. That is good habits. Like, in preschool, it's not only restricted to academics. I've been telling you, since quite some time now, that it's not only, the academics that we need to focus on. We need to focus on the holistic development of the child, because this is where we are shaping up their personality. This is where we are shaping up their cognitive skills. So one of that is, like, the good habits. They are learned, they are observed, they are seen. So this is how they come in. See, yes, of course, the children are there with us for a very limited time in the school, but still, why not we just lay the foundation of building those, good habits? All right. So today we'll be talking about how do we build good habits in our young children. And yeah, so we'll be doing some introduction. I mean, some, icebreaker, of course, which we do. We'll be talking about which daily habits can we focus on with the perspective of preschool. I'll be talking about, I'll be giving you many, 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 many low prep to no prep activities, which you can do it in the school. I've also made, few anecdotes, kind of short stories, which you can use or apply, or give an example, or make it, expand it in your way and do stories related to good habits. I've also put in just like few of those. So, you can just use it, apply it in your routine without any disruptions or any other thing. Now, before going ahead, we will be talking about is the assessment in coding. Okay. Why is my screen 1 minute? Huh? Just a moment. Yes. Sorry. There was some issue. Yeah. So we'll be doing the assessment of the previous workshop that we did. It's a quick assessment. It's very easy, and I know it's been a little a longer duration for this, but let's see. My teachers, you all, I know that if you've listened, you've heard, and I've tried to make it as applicable and as simplified for you all. So let's just come on, be ready. Open the chat box, and I want your options there. All right, let's start. The very first one. We have in early childhood, coding mainly means, what does it mean? I want your options, and my chat box is open. Come on, teachers. Yes, correct, Khushbu ma'am. Anybody else? Why is only she listening to me? Or did she only attend? Oh, yes, my teachers are here. Great. Okay, great. Thank you, teachers. Next question. Moving ahead. The next question. Which of the following is an example of coding in daily lives? Okay, I'm getting mixed reviews here. We are talking about question 2. Okay, I'm on question 2. So, I'm getting D and B. D is drawing freely, but that cannot be an app. That cannot be coding in daily life, because coding means we are sequencing something, we are giving some steps to it. So it will be more like brushing teeth in steps. Like, we'll take the toothbrush, then we take the toothpaste, we open the cap. So these are the steps that we are teaching. So that's how the coding will happen. Drawing step by step would have been a form of coding, but not drawing freely. Next. Come on, I'm on question 3. Okay, question 3. Pause, everybody. Okay. Which of the activity is an unplugged coding activity? Unplugged. Yes. Watching videos, because it's okay. All right. Stop, teachers. Yeah. Next. Okay, okay. Now next, coding activities in preschool will help develop which skills? Yes, correct. It's B, logical thinking and problem solving skills. That is like one of the most topmost skills that it focuses on, and it works the best through coding. Okay, stop. Next one. Next one. Question number 5. According to Howard Gardner, coding activities support. Yes, yes. Very good teachers. Okay, okay. Pause, pause. Next one. Quickly. Which of the following is a coding skill? Why did I get B and D for some of the D for okay, A? Yes, correct. It is no, 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 no. It's not memorizing answers, ma'am. It is basically following step by step instructions. Okay, next one. What is the role of the teacher in coding activities? Yes, correct. I can see few names who are very prompt and quick. Like Khushbu ma'am from Curious Kids, then Little Feet Play School. Yes, thank you, thank you. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this. No, it's not only giving instructions to the teachers, to the children. It is guiding them. It is supporting and it is encouraging them that way of thinking. It is not giving them clear-cut instructions and making it an easy way for them. Yes, it's guide and support. Yes. Next one. Which app can be used for simple coding introduction? Which app? Correct, it's Scratch Junior. Next, coding in preschool should be, come on, we are on the next one. Should be only done on activities, or how are we supposed to do? No, we cannot. Why are we getting D? No, it cannot, it should not be avoided, man. It is there. The coding concept is there in so many things. When you are telling the children to even climb up the steps, when we are teaching them the basic thing that, put your right foot on one step and put your left foot on the other one, that is also you're teaching them something step by step. And there should be unplugged activities. Yes. Last one, which statement is correct about screen time and coding? Yeah, it's both. Cannot be taught. I skipped out on not in one of the options, but yes, it's C and D. Correct. Correct, teachers. Thank you. Excellent job, teachers. Come on. Now keep the chat box open because we are going to do an icebreaker activity. For this, I want you to give me thumbs up or thumbs down. Okay. So the icebreaker activity, let's do it. Okay, okay, teachers, pause. Now listen to me. So what the thing is, the activity is I will show an action, like I will say the prompt, okay, of action. Then you have to show a thumbs up if it is a good habit, and you have to show a thumbs down if it's a bad habit. Okay, it's very simple, very clear. I have kept these from the perspective of the children, of how we can do these activities with the children in the classroom. Okay, so this is how we are just going to go about it. Come on, the first one, first habit, brushing teeth every day. So it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down. That's what I want. Yes. Correct, correct, correct. Thumbs up. Okay, great, great, great. Now the next one. Please mute yourselves, teachers. Yeah, it disrupts the session, ma'am. Yeah, thank you, teachers. Yeah. Next one. Come on, next one. Next example, throwing paper on the floor. Good. Next one. Next one. Sharing toys with friends. Very nice. Chalo, yeah. Okay, not listening to teacher. Next, saying thank you. Hmm. Oh, why thumbs down for saying thank you? Yeah, nice, nice, nice. Next, pushing a friend. Hmm. Great, 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 great. Last one. I think it's the last one. Washing hands before eating. Okay. All right, all right, all right, all right. Shouting in class. Very nice. Okay, teachers. Okay. So now you're okay, okay. I want your focus on the screen again now. Okay. Chat box को थोड़ा आराम देते हैं. Okay. Okay, okay, teachers. Yeah. Thank you for the amazing support. It really makes me happy. It makes my day actually because I see when the teachers are involved, when they are listening. So I enjoy it. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. So now back to the topic. Was it easy to identify good or bad habits? Yes, it was for us. Okay. As adults, it was very easy for us to segregate between, which habits are bad, which habits are good, which are bad. But for children it is they're still learning, they're understanding the process of what is right or what is wrong or what is good or what is bad. So they are not born with the habits. Nobody is born, it is shaped. This is how it is it is introduced to them different ways where they learn it, they observe it, they understand the effects. Like okay, if I behave like this is how what I get. So this is what we get learned. This is how we learn habits. They are not learned. They are not. We are not born with those habits. And most important place to learn these habits are home and preschool, because this is where the child spends most amount of their time, and this is where they learn the habits, the social skills. They are meeting other children, they are seeing this, they are understanding it, the teachers are there, they are giving them, they're explaining things to them, so they are going to learn way faster about habits than what they do at home. Okay, so today we as teachers, we are going to talk about how can we build these habits, and in very simple and practical way. Okay, now, here we are going to do is teaching daily habits. What habits can we teach our children basically? Like, the like basically there are small actions that we will teach them. We can teach them. We are not going to teach them, like honesty is the best policy. You need to remember, you have to be honest. They are too young for these. They're too young to learn these values or these habits, but we can teach them the basic stuff. Like we can start off with their personal hygiene, we can start off with their social skills to develop ways, habits that can help them develop their social skills. And we are going to do it, take baby steps, like brushing teeth, washing hands. These are all also habits that we do. Okay, listening to the teacher, because if we inculcate that habit now, when they grow up, it is going to be beneficial for them only. All right. So here, now why during the early childhood, why is it important during this time? See, they are like Play-Doh, they are like clay. So you can mold them the way you want to. You can, you can just develop them the way you wish to, and they can bloom and they will blossom in that process. So that's what we want. So why is it habit? Why is it the right time? First, they learn fast. They have excellent observational skills. They imitate, they copy adults, like like this way, like with the Like, they will just do it. You as teachers also must have observed that if you speak in certain way, or you have a certain way of saying things, or if there's some habit or some actions that we do regularly, you will see the children imitating it. So this happens because they are very good in copying or imitating or learning from adults, because they're observing things. They repeat actions, the repetitive, the actions that we can keep repeating over here. We can help them. They can be easily taught how to follow a routine. So this is why it is really important to start in early childhood. Okay, when I was making this PPT, na teachers, what I felt was, this particular thing, it's there, it's always there in the curriculum, in the stories or songs, that whatever we listen, we talk about, the Mulberry Bush song also, like, brushing teeth, washing, wearing clean clothes or taking bath, whatever those songs that have, it all talks about these habits. But there has been no conscious effort made to inculcate those habits, like to involve them in this daily routine. So I'm really glad we are doing this PPT, and you can try and do it in your classroom. Now, okay, if a child learns to say thank you at the age of 3, it becomes natural for life. It is not, if not taught early, it becomes difficult later. See, as clay, as I mentioned, I gave you an example that a child's personality is like clay. You can mold it the way you wish to. The longer you wait, the clay will start getting, will harden. And with the more, with its hardening process, you can't make many changes then. So that's why it's better to inculcate certain good habits, values, everything in our children when they are young, because that's how you can mold them easily. Now, key habits to teach. Now, I have listed down few habits that can be done in the classroom, that are done in the classroom, or that teacher can associate it well, show the children, talk about it with the children, and demonstrate it also. First and foremost is cleanliness, like, washing hands before and after eating, or when they come from outdoor play, throwing waste in the dustbin, not on the floor, keeping the class clean, ensuring, like, the after the craft activity, keep your stuff in its place. Once you've drank your water, put it back in its place, keep the tiffin box back in its bag. So this is some basic things that we are teaching them. And good habits it goes parallel with discipline. We are disciplining the children in a very subtle and a very, very nice way. Then we have politeness, because here, since it's in a social environment, we need to use our golden words like please, thank you, sorry. And here it will be, they can apply those golden words in that scenario in the preschool, because this is where, there is giving and taking of pencils or toys, or sharing toys, or waiting for the turn, helping each other. So all this comes. So we want them to be polite as well. Next is sharing and caring, sharing toys, taking turns. Automatically, they will start taking turns. You'll notice it over a period of time. You will see the children, if they've understood the concept of sharing and caring, you will see that they will only automatically take turns. Yeah, I will play for 2 minutes, or I will take one round with the toy. Then you play, then again I'll play. So they'll learn that way. And you will see that this happens. Responsibility, making them responsible for their own things. Like when you come in, your bag should be here during dispersal time. Go and pick up and identify your bag and wear it. Take your water bottle and be ready. So these are your responsibilities. Like keep your books back in the bag. Everything. Cleaning toys, explaining, following the rules. If teacher has put up some rules that you have to stand in a line before leaving the classroom, you go and stand in the line. So like this, listening and following instructions. This is a necessary, and it is like a need of an hour, because we want the children to follow the instructions as well. Because, and the problem is that they want to follow, but the listening skills have become so uh, you know uh, they're just so ruined actually. Like, like they are just not listening appropriately, or you're not able to focus on the listening skills. So this is what we want them to do in the preschool only. Now, Now we come to the part which I enjoy the most is how to
Ma'am,
teach.
excuse me.
Yes, ma'am?
Uh, I'm really proud of my school, London Kids Schools in Jhabua. And these
Okay.
children are really behaving so well. The teachers also preparing them so well. I feel so proud of them, really. And then,
Very nice, ma'am.
and according to the line, after they pray, quietly they go to class. Quietly they
Class.
sit down till the teachers go. Really feel that small kids, the
Yeah.
way in the beginning when you teach them, the surely
Huh.
they will do very well.
Very nice, ma'am. It's an example, like the discipline which the teachers have, and you're putting it in the children, so it's commendable, and it's you can see it. Like I could hear the pride in your voice with how the young ones are have
Yes,
inculcated these good habits. So proud of you, ma'am. Super, good job.
yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this, ma'am. So now we'll get back to this of how to teach habits. Okay. So how are we going to teach these habits in the school scenario? So first and foremost is demonstrate. We will not show them that if somebody says this, you are going, if somebody asks for a toy, don't push them, but say sorry or say okay after some time or whatever. Just don't talk about it, demonstrate it. And like here where the teachers can you can take the children, the two teachers if there are two teachers in the classroom, you can do a demonstration and show them. Or the teacher can take them to the washroom and show them, okay, how are we supposed to wash our hands. We are supposed to take a little bit a little bit of the soap and rub it on our hands and wash it like this. Then we can teach them how to say thank you also, in what all, few examples with how can we say those magic words, when do we need to say those magic words that way. So if we do that, then ask the children to copy it. Ask the children to copy. So if they learn, they will, if they are doing it also along with it, so they will learn these things. Next is role play. The two teachers can put up an act, as I mentioned. So you can put up an act, and you can show them, if this is a scenario, how are we going to act. Or if you see there are few children who are behaving in a certain way, you can have a small impromptu act in front of the entire class, and the children will understand it, rather than just pinpointing at the child and telling the child about it and talking to the child. They will not understand by only by talking, because they are very, very young. Third thing is through stories. Through stories, it's like you can say and do so much through stories. Stories is like another, it's a treasure. It's a true treasure that we've got, in form of stories, that you can teach and teach anything and everything to the children through these. So they can, do short stories, with values, and talk to the children about it. Prompt them after the story, like what was the right thing to do, or what shouldn't have been done. Anything you can ask them. Then we have through games. So you can do, like a game kind of a thing, like each and every, like standing in a circle and pass the ball. Every time you pass the ball, the other child will say thank you, and you say you welcome. So they are learning it, and they are playing a game as well. That way. Next is through daily practice. So, why we do those, thank you, those snack time prayers also, we do, we used to do as teachers. If you are doing, great. If you're not doing, please do it. It's really helps, you're inculcating that value of gratitude also in them. So, if repetition, it will become a habit. The thanking, your food, or thanking, or sharing each other, whatever you can do, the small things. So habits are not taught in one day. This you have to remember. You need to be those actions or those things should be repetitive, consistent. You need to be consistent with this thing and be patient. It will be visible. So like you can give, dedicate, focus on one particular habit for a month, and you can keep doing it in one way or other in the classroom. If you're consistent with it, trust me, by the fourth week of that month, you will see the children have already inculcated or have already learned that habit, and they are going to do it. So that's what you can keep doing it, like just this is how habits are taught. Okay. Now, which habit is most difficult in your class to do? You can quickly either tell me or in your chat box, like, any habit that you're trying to inculcate in the classroom and it's not happening.
Quite
Anything? Yes, ma'am. Which habit?
asking them to remain quiet. No, they feel whole time they are hesitating here and there. So it is
Ah,
difficult for them to
to,
control that.
yeah, to tell them to not talk that time. Yeah. Okay, chalo, what we'll do is, at the end of the session, I want all the teachers also to give us a suggestion of how to work on this. Like how can we ensure, how can we make a habit of them for them to listen at that time? Okay, and we'll discuss that. Okay, I've got a message on the chat box. Let me just have a look. Pushing each other, focusing on listening. Okay, we have quite a few things that we can work on. So that let me quickly finish off the this, and then we are going to talk about these habits and how we will work together on how can we inculcate some habit into them. And we'll see how it works, but by the next session, we can see, if you have your schools on, we can see and you can try and let us know how it worked. Okay, okay. So I've got quite a few list of habits that you want to inculcate and you're finding it difficult in the classroom. So let's see if these activities that we've given, I'll be giving, if that helps, nothing like it. If not, we are anyways going to discuss and we are going to work on it together. Okay, teachers, let's do it. Okay, now I'm here. Where is this? Okay, next one. See, as I mentioned, they will not learn habits by instructions. You need to show it to them. You need to do it in front of them and you need to do it repetitively or keep prompting them to do it repetitively. Then only they'll do it. Okay. Now, what we repeat daily becomes a habit for life. Simple and short. Okay, okay. Next, now here is the activity bank that starts. We are going to be teaching habits, and as you know, most of my activities are low prep to no prep activities, so the teachers are not burdened with add-on preparations for any activities. Okay, so here for cleanliness, you can put in, those songs, any songs. We have so many songs that we come, wash, wash, wash your hands, wash it like this, or anything. Just make up any song and you can do it, and make it a routine. Make it a routine, like the moment, if you, whenever, even if you say, like if they are not going and washing hands or they are being lazy to do it, just, the moment you start, you may have face a difficulty for the initial time, like just helping them. Like when I start singing the song, you have to start singing the song along with me and start washing your hands or start going and washing your hands. So then by the time, if you just say wash, wash, wash your hands, you will see children have already started going and washing their hands. And end of the time, like at the end, you will also realize that, okay, they know now that they are done with their snack. Now they have to go and wash their hands. So this is what it comes. The songs really help. They listen to the songs. The dustbin toss game. So now this you can make it as a like for children throwing paper or bits of paper on the floor or just making they don't understand the concept of cleanliness. You can do it like this, of telling them this is a dustbin, this is a place where we throw waste paper. So either you can give them some spare paper or newspapers and tell them to crumble it. So we are working on their fine motor skills also when they're crumpling the paper, and tell them to go and throw the paper, like, toss the paper in the dustbin. So it is like a fun activity, but they are understanding that, okay, the things that we don't need or dirty paper, I mean, waste paper goes in the dustbin or waste products goes in the dustbin. So we can teach them this way. Clean up race. So you can do, who can clean up the fastest, who can do it, and when, the children are playing, sometimes they have those blocks scattered in the classroom. They have so many things scattered. If you start, like it's time to put your toys away, or anything. And now you can tell them, come on, let's have a competition of who can clean up the fastest. And you will see how fast they can do it. Trust me, and you will then realize that, oh, they can do it. They have the capacity to do it. They just don't do it. Okay, next is how now you can see I have segregated the top habits as well. You'll see on top you have now we are on politeness habits. So here we were doing cleanliness. Now we are on politeness. So I have divided the sorted those way also. Magic words, like you may play a magic word game. So pass a toy, as I mentioned earlier, like passing the parcel and make them do the magic word thing. Puppet talk. Once in a while, use when you're introducing some concepts also, and if you're using a puppet or a cutout or anything, try to put in something about these habits also. Like if the puppet is there and if you have introduced the concept, the puppet says, "Thank you so much for helping me out," or anything as such. So they are understanding. Role play, I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to repeat. Pass the toy game again, but now we are going to do it in sharing and caring habit. Okay, that habit. Now, helping hands game. So give them, small tasks. Okay, like tell them to now I have the books, go and help your friend or go and distribute. So like, like one child will hold the books and the other one is, giving the books to the children or paper to the children or anything you can do. So they are helping their friends, their teachers. So they are learning how to care for their loved ones. Pair up activity. So if we have two children, we can either give them, a hula hoop also, or any material you can, anything you can give them. So for example, you give them a hula hoop. One child has to put it on, like go over it or under it or pass it through themselves, and then it will give it to the other child. The other child will do it, and again they'll pass it to the earlier one. So they can do it in a pair, they can do it in a circle, anything. So they are learning that okay, I did it, now it's my friend's turn. Responsibility. Give responsibility. Now, helper of the day. Now, this is especially you can do this, for the child who has difficulty in sitting for a long time or who distracts the class, who is a little more active compared to other children. So, what you can do is these children, they need to channelize their energy. So, what you can do is give them a responsibility. Give them, okay, you are my helper of the day. Today you are only going to handle everything. So if I need books, you have to go and get the books. If I need this, you will go and help me. If I need to distribute these books to the children, you will only distribute. So the child is involved and engaged in this, and then we are utilizing his energy in a right way. Like I have tried this with my son. He is a little, hyper, little active, more active. So what he does is, I have to in order to keep him occupied, I keep him in the kitchen with me, and I keep telling him, okay, come on, now go put the vessels, the bowls in the bowls drawer. You put this here, you put this there. So you sort the tomatoes and the onions and the potatoes, sort them, they are in one bag, just sort them and put them in their own place. Some small things, stack the plates and go put them on the table. So if you keep him energized, keep him engaged in that, I notice that, okay, he is more manageable and he is not disrupting the flow of the thing. So you can do the same thing in the classroom as well. Pack your bag, tell them to pack your bag before going home, teach them, okay, see, ensure that everything is there in your bag. Is your compass box in your bag? You've put your tiffin box or no? Your napkin, your ID card, just everything you need to. Just a few days you will have to inculcate it, but then they'll get used to it. Toy sorting. So when they are playing with the toys, tell them the blocks will go in this basket, the balls or anything will go in this basket, the books or whatever if they have, they will go in this particular basket. So they are sorting. So there are sorting and segregation is also going on, and we are learning organizational skills also. Now we are at listening and discipline. So now follow the teacher. Here, when the children are not following, now many, I read those comments as well, like the children don't listen, they need. So first, let's do it as a game with them. But I will do an action or I will say something, you have to follow repeat it with me. So if the teacher says like, barks, barks, or say roars like a lion, for example. So the children will also roar it back. So make it fun initially, then tell them now when the children, now how did they, why did they enjoy the game? Yes or no? They, of course, they are going to say yes. So tell them that if you listened to me, that's why you enjoyed it. You knew what you were supposed to do. If you don't listen, you will not do it. So you can also tell them, like when they are not listening or when they are very, like overly energized in the classroom, make them play these games. So they are under they, you will bring them back into the classroom. You will ensure that they focus and they are learning it also this way. Freeze game. This is the best. If the children are running around, they are not sitting for a long time. Take 2 minutes, halt your teaching. Tell the children, come on, get up. And now you can do any funny dance, whatever you want. The moment I say freeze or I say stop, you all have to freeze. And if you freeze and make them play it, it's fun. They love it. They truly enjoy it. And then you have their attention back. And then make them play few rounds and tell them, okay, let's sit back and let's continue. And trust me, they will listen. Trust me. Clap pattern game. So now we want that the children are not following the instructions or listening carefully. Tell them to follow these patterns. So I will clap and I will snap my fingers once. So the children also have to follow it. So then I will do 1, 2, 3 claps and 2 snaps. So the children have to pay attention, have to listen, and then they have to do. So we want that attention span to increase so we can make them do, and that's how they will sit also for a longer time. Now, use 1 or 2 activities daily. We don't have to dedicate the entire time or anything. Whenever you want, you can make them do. But please, please do it on repetition. It won't happen in it's not a one-time teaching thing. Okay. Now I have few short stories. They are basically like anecdotes. I will show the screen and I will not talk much about uh, it, okay? You just read it through. The clean classroom. How can we do it?
Anira.
Please mute yourselves. So here you can see, like short stories, you can tell them, you can elaborate the story in your form, you can apply it and, like if you've seen anything happening in the classroom and, just you can expand the story your way, you can change it and just hinting some stuff, like some stories. Let's do the next one. We have the magic words. So like if Arjun takes his pencil, you can do it as a role play, you can demonstrate it, you can say, the teacher can also keep talking about that, magic words make people happy. So if you've heard somebody say sorry, if somebody gives you something, say thank you. If you want something, say please. This way, you can keep using, inculcating the habit and in a story form. Sharing tree, you can talk about, how they are fighting and the teacher tells them. You can expand it your way. I've just tried to put it, little bit of ideas like in brief for you all. Then we have the helpful little star. So helping others makes you a shining star kind of a thing, and they feel proud. So we are teaching them emotions also associated with that. So if you are not pushing, or if you're pushing somebody, so that you are making somebody sad also, and that way. But if you help somebody, how you feel happy and proud. So that way you can teach them these stories. The listening bunny you can do. Yeah, trust me, with stories, try to do all stories with animals in it, because the children somehow associate it with the most with it, because at that age they are fascinated with animals and birds and those kind of creatures. So you can use that and benefit that whilst narrating stories. So how to use the stories? It is very easy. We can, end the story by, what did the child do right, or what does this particular character do right? What should we do if we are faced with a problem? This builds understanding. Now, activities make habits fun, and stories they make it meaningful. So if they are understanding the meaning behind why do we have to behave in such a way. So that's what stories help us to do. Now, these are like some activities that I've put. Now, I've divided the activities into fine motor skills, and I've also divided it into gross motor skills. Okay. So, the first one is that we will be doing fine motor skill games. So, it is, the focus is going to be on hand control, small actions because we are using our fine muscles, and also daily habits. So, this is our focus. Now, cloth pin cleanup. So, give children cloth pin and paper pieces. Tell them to pick it up with those cloth pins and put it in the bowl or a dustbin. So we are teaching them cleanliness and responsibility. We don't want our classroom to be dirty, but we are also helping them with the skill that is their finger strength is increasing. Tear and sort game. So tell them, okay, now let's give them pieces of papers that are like waste paper specifically, those used, the old worksheets or used any printouts that are not needed anymore, anything, those kind of things, you can give it to them and specifically talk about it that since they are not needed, we are going to do it like this. So tell the children, either tear it and then reuse it or any way, we used to do is, we used to give them papers and for senior KG, after we had introduced the shapes, like, so we used to specially give it during, after the introduction of the of the shape, so that if they've learned square, so we used to tell them, okay, now make tiny, tiny squares, like you need to make four sides and tear it into four sides and give it, or circle form में cut करके दो, triangle है. So this is how they used to do. Spoon transfer, transfer beads or pulses from one bowl to another. So here their hand-eye coordination is at work. They are focusing. They are careful. So they know that, okay, you don't spill. Just be careful. So when we are giving them instructions or when we are giving them a bottle of water and we tell them, okay, don't spill. Now they know how to control themselves. So button and zip practice. See, this is a very prominent Montessori activity that children do, especially in Montessori schools, is because these are basic life skills that you need to learn. So learn how to zip up the jackets or button up. You can. There are many toys also that come. Where they get to zip it up or button up or that way pin up, so they can learn. So they are doing they are using their fine motor skills over here. Then polite puppet play. Children love puppets at this age. So tell the puppets to say sorry, please, as I mentioned earlier. So here they are learning it. Tell them to demonstrate it. Give them some puppets to demonstrate and behave. Like do it. So that's how it will work. Now, sorting good habits and bad habits, you can give them picture cards, or this also you can do is make the children stand in the in the middle of the classroom, make two circles at the corners, or put two placards of good habits or bad habits in that way, and say the habit. For example, pushing your friends. So the child, if you think it's a good habit, go in the good habit circle. If you think it's bad habit, go in the bad habit circle. So you can make them do it. Then you can do is each bead one habit. So every time the child, if you notice, so you can either put it up, under the child's name in the classroom as a, and then you can keep adding a bead to it, kind of, you can keep making them do it. So they are getting that reinforcement also, like, oh wow, I behaved nicely and this is what I got. And they are concentrating on their own actions on everything. Sticker reward chart activity, it's similar to the bead activity, but you can do it. This is way convenient and comfortable. You can do those activities. So they are constantly motivated. It's there in front of them. So they remember that, okay, I need to keep working that on, that kind of a thing. Now we go to gross motor skills. We have movement, energy, and activity learning is what we are going to focus on. Just give me a moment. I'll just take a sip of water and I'll start again. Give me 2 minutes. Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you, teachers. Yeah. We come to this cleanup relay race. Make it a relay kind of a thing, बच्चे लोग को भी, you can make two children stand, and one will pick up the toy, and run and give it to the other one will take it and go and put it in its place. So it's like a relay. They are occupied, they are having fun, and it's like you are inculcating teamwork as well as cleanliness. Follow-up action habits we have, so make them keep doing it, so they are learning it, how to, that body coordination is there, sharing circle game. So pass the ball, then wait for your turn. So they are learning, they are controlling themselves. They are, like how are we supposed to which direction they are learning. So those gross motor skills are at work. Everything, it's just working. Please pass game. So please give me the ball. If till the time you don't say the magic word, you will not get the action, won't be done. Helping race, child drops, items on the floor, and other one helps and picks up. So you can do it in a form of a race and make them do it. So you're, they are engaged in they are running around. Their physical activity is working, and also they are helping each other in a way. Stop and listen. This is, if if you have trouble in the child not listening in the classroom, any children, make them play this game. This works because here they have to listen, and it becomes normal for them to listen, keep listening to you, then because they will learn that okay, it's not bad to not listen. It's good, we are learning something, and we can have fun when we listen to the teachers, kind of a thing. Habit action dance, make them do a dance, or let them to do show, like how do we wash our hands, or how do we do cleaning, how do we share. So just act, role play, kind of a dance, kind of a thing. This is obstacle path with instructions. So give them, go around the chair. The child is reading, the child is using his gross motor skills, and then soon you will see your that way. Go jump over line, like pick an object. So we are giving them instructions. They are listening to those instructions, and they are doing it and following those instructions. Everything works together. Good habit jump. So say a habit, like if it's a good habit, you will jump. If it's a bad habit, you will stand still. This is also a good alternative. You can make them do it, like sharing, so they will jump. Pushing, so they will not jump, they will stand still. So they are understanding the difference in right and wrong. And also, we are getting that quick response from them. Line up challenge. Who can line up quietly and quickly? You have, with this one simple question, you will have the disciplined class who walks in a line, and also a controlled one who knows that, okay, they are not going to run around, they have to go in a line only. Okay, so combine habits with movement and hands-on activities, and children will learn better. Okay, so I have given you maximum so many activities. Basic, they are no prep, they can be included in the daily activities. You don't need to take some time out, as and when you have the time, or if you're doing some activity with the children, just do it. Okay, just do these little bit, inculcate these habits, and trust me, over the period of time, you will see a major difference in the children. Okay, so and when children are taught to play, they don't realize that they are learning something. They think that okay, they are just enjoying it. They are and they will start doing it naturally. It will just come to them naturally without even realizing it. Okay, so here we've come to an end of our session, but we will be discussing few things, like our teachers did have some issues, but if pushing each other, or sitting span, or asking them to remain silent, they keep talking in the classroom, roaming around in the classroom. So if you are facing these issues, How can we help them to solve this? So if you've got an activity which I just shared and I discussed, if you want to share it with me, I mean, you can put it across, like for pushing each other, which activity can we do? Please put it across in the chat box, teachers, or you can unmute yourself and tell me. The first one is pushing each other. So the children are pushing each other. How can we stop that? By and build a good habit for them.
Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful session.
Okay, freeze game. Many teachers are saying freeze game. Yes, freeze game works. There are many things you can make them do. Even during music and movement, just play the freeze game, play the song, and just pause it then, like, midway. And like when they are dancing, just tell them that if at the moment the music stops, you have to just stop doing, whatever you are doing and just pause, sing songs and engage them with them. Yes. And for pushing each other, pushing other children issue, you can is best resolved through stories. You narrate some stories, which has that uh or put in, make up those stories which are, we're talking about pushing each other and anything, and then see how what difference it makes. It really helps. Stories will help. Okay. Any other ideas, or if focus on listening can be done, pushing each other, sitting for a long time. See, trust me, these children will not sit for a long time. Their attention span is for a few minutes. What you do the moment realize that the children are restless, they are not listening, make them do a quick transition thing, as I told you, like, just jump, or good habit, bad habit, jump or anything. Make them do it and it will help. Asking them to remain silent is not possible. This freezing thing will only work. Any other suggestion, any other things that you want to, any other habit that you are going to inculcate with them, please do let me know. Write it in the chat box. I'm giving you 2 minutes for any doubts that you have.